Hey everyone, what's going on? So on June 13th, we got this story about the lady named London Breed, who is going to become the first black woman to be the mayor of San Francisco. And I documented about her back on December 12th when we got the death of Ed Lee, the former mayor of San Francisco, and then she became the acting mayor of San Francisco. And what I documented in that thing was that it was all connected to bridge and earthquake symbolism. And that's why I thought that the Eagles would be in the Super Bowl. I thought they might play the Steelers, but I had a good idea the Eagles were going to be in the Super Bowl because of some stuff I documented in 2015. And lo and behold, the Eagles went on to the Super Bowl and they won. And there's lots of stuff connected to bridge and earthquake symbolism. Even Ed Lee died 55 days before the Super Bowl that was played in Minneapolis. And Minneapolis equals 55, and his birthday was 5/5. And the last time that a San Francisco mayor died in office, it was George Moscone, and he died 55 days before the Steelers won the Super Bowl. And Steelers play in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is known as the city of bridges. And Minneapolis is known for a famous bridge collapse, right? The bridge collapsed on August 1st, 8/1, and it supposedly fell 81 feet, and the main trusses were 81 meters long, and it took them 81 minutes to transport everyone to the hospital. And I also have been talking about San Francisco this year, how the Golden Gate Bridge has been open for 81 years. And in Gematria, Golden Gate Bridge equals 81 in reverse and also in the frontwards way. So a super important thing. Also, the Super Bowl was really important to kneeling during the national anthem and the Star Spangled Banner. And Francis Scott Key, the guy who wrote the national anthem, his birthday is August 1st, 8/1. That's why we had Justin Timberlake in the halftime show, because the last time he was in it, it was when he showed Janet Jackson's boob and she was singing songs off her album called Rhythm Nation 1814, which she even says was about the year that Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem. So all synced up to this. There was bridge symbolism, and I kept talking about it. All this bridge stuff that's going on. And then we had a bridge collapse on March 15th in the Miami area, a pedestrian bridge collapse. And I'll explain a little bit more why that's important here in a second, because it's important to the 44th mayor of San Francisco. And in Gematria, the word earthquake equals 44, and also 55. And think about that in regards to Ed Lee, the former mayor of San Francisco, being born on 5/5 and dying 55 days before the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. That was synced up to bridge symbolism. Also notice the word earthquake equals 107, and the word bridge equals 107 in Jewish gematria. Also, I want to point out the Golden Gate Bridge, the anniversary of it being opened is on the 147th day of the year. And in gematria, national anthem equals 147. So super duper important. And, think about San Francisco in regards to kneeling during the national anthem. And who did it start with? It supposedly started with Colin Kaepernick, right? Colin Kaepernick, the San Francisco 49er. And once again, like the Star Spangled Banner equals 88 in gematria, just like Colin Kaepernick. I spelled it wrong there. Colin Kaepernick equals 88 in gematria. Also, the Super Bowl is played at US Bank Stadium. That equals 88 in gematria. And there's some other side themes that it's related to, such as, think about it, US Bank Stadium. And right now we're in the 88th anniversary of the stock market crash. That's why the day after the Super Bowl, the big headline was market meltdown, right? The stock market. Think about it. Herbert Hoover, H is the eighth letter. H, 88. You know, so there's definitely a whole lot of stuff. Even the word kneel equals 88 in gematria, all synced up by the numbers. Herbert Hoover even equals 159, just like Donald Trump. 159, just like Francis Key. Francis Key, 159. So there's a bunch of interrelated things, but bridge and earthquake symbolism, very, very important. So let's go back to this story here. This first black woman becoming the uh, the mayor of San Francisco. And think about it, Ed Lee was the 43rd mayor. So when he died, she was the acting 43rd mayor, but it was a lot, that makes you think a lot like the 44th mayor. And the actual 44th mayor of San Francisco then was this guy, Mark Farrell. And look when he was born, March 15th. March 15th is the day of the bridge collapse that happened in Miami. March 15th, the day of the bridge collapse. He's the 44th mayor of San Francisco, and his birthday just so happened to be 4 months and 4 days before the 81st anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge being opened. And what else is interesting is that London Breed became the 43rd mayor of San Francisco at the age of 43. So, now she's going to become the mayor just before turning 44. And the word earthquake equals 44. Also, what I documented in the previous video, and I'll leave a link in the description, but, her name being London Breed, and we had the London Bridge attack last year, 2017. London Breed, London Bridge attack. There's something important to it. Ariana Grande concert attack. Another interesting thing too, we had the gay marriage case. We just had that story about the guy who the guy wouldn't make the wedding cake. The baker wouldn't make the wedding cake for the gay people. And earlier in 2017, we got the death of Gilbert Baker, who was the creator of the rainbow flag in San Francisco. And he was told to create that symbol by George Moscone, who was the last mayor before Ed Lee to die in San Francisco, right? So that's why we got that story about the baker not wanting to make the cake for the gay couple, because they're showing us yet again San Francisco and all this stuff. And what else is super interesting is that I've talked about the earthquake stuff in regards to WrestleMania and also the Royal Rumbles this year, and just wrestling in general. I talked about in 2015 about an earthquake near Philadelphia, or an East Coast earthquake, which is another reason why I thought the Eagles would potentially be in the Super Bowl this year. And Philadelphia equals 65. And this lady's primary vote for the new mayor was on 6-5. The word bridge collapse equals 65. And what I documented about in 2015 was that there was a bunch of stuff with Philadelphia because of Hulk Hogan and also Roddy Piper dying. And I talked about Ronda Rousey having the connection to Roddy Piper, right? And then this year, Ronda Rousey makes her debut at the Royal Rumble. And think about that. Royal Rumble, earthquake. And then after WrestleMania, they even had the greatest Royal Rumble that was in Iran, right? So once again, they're putting emphasis on it. Royal Rumble, seems to me like a big earthquake. Royal Rumble. Anyway, Philadelphia 65, bridge collapse. Hulk Hogan got his ribs broke by earthquake, if you remember. And then he got his revenge at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, right? So the earthquake's real name was John Tenta. John Tenta equals 107, just like earthquake. But Hulk Hogan's real name equals 65. WrestleMania was, I believe it's 6 months and 5 days after Hulk Hogan's birthday, or before Hulk Hogan's birthday. Actually, WrestleMania is 4 months and 4 days before Hulk Hogan's 65th birthday, right? 44. The word earthquake equals 44. Really synced up to it. Miami, Florida equals 65, like bridge collapse. Just Florida equals 65, like Hulk Hogan's name. So there's, and then this guy, the 44th mayor of San Francisco, he, unbelievable, you know. Is he 44 years old? The 44th mayor, his birthday, March 15th, the day of that bridge collapse. And he turned 44 years old that day, and his birthday 4 months and 4 days before the anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge. Even his name equals 333 in Jewish gematria, just like Philadelphia Eagles. And what I talked about in 2015, 2015 was the 333rd anniversary of Philadelphia being founded, or, you know, so becoming a state, I believe, or being founded. Also, in regards to all the national anthem stuff, August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. And if you noticed, the Star Spangled Banner equals 223, Kaepernick equals 223, War of 1812 equals 223. That's the year that that's the war that Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner in. And that's why we even had Roseanne coming back for the 223rd episode and then getting canceled on the 231st, because national anthem also equals 231. But also, the reason why Herbert Hoover was so important to all of that was because Herbert Hoover was also the guy who signed into Congress that the national anthem be officially the Star Spangled Banner, right? So there's a lot of interrelated things going on. And still, tons of stuff with earthquake and bridge symbolism. Even this London breed, she's going to be assuming office on 11/7, a lot like 117. And if you notice, the gematria of the word bridge equals 117. That's why Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in met on the 117th day of the year, and they said that they were bridging the gap. And, you know, Pope Francis, who turned 81 years old, 81 days after the Jesuit anniversary this year. That's why Pope Francis, a long time ago, said that when Donald Trump wanted to build the wall, he said that Christians don't build walls, they build bridges. And the word pontiff actually means bridge builder. And in Hebrew gematria, Hebrew lettering, the word pope equals 81. So it's very, very important. If you go from the day that her last day as acting mayor to the day of this vote, it was 4 months and 13 days. And in Jewish gematria, San Francisco equals 413, a lot like 4 months, 13 days. Also, Ed Lee died on 12/12, and in reverse Sumerian, San Francisco equals 12/12, 1,212. Also, her birthday being 8/11 is interesting. There's lots of interesting things with her birthday. That's also the day that Robin Williams died, and there's some important things going on with Robin Williams. He even is, you know, his comedy act is even out of San Francisco. But 8/11 is the 141st prime, and San Francisco equals 141 as well. And the reason I bring this up is because we just had the new Triple Crown winner, right? The Another Triple Crown, just like 2015 with American Pharaoh. And if you remember, he had the 811 on him, call 811, and he won the 141st Kentucky Derby. And call 811, when you look that up, that's a number you're supposed to call before you dig. And it just reminds me of fracking and whatnot. 811, calling before you dig. London Nicole Breed equals 166, and she became the acting mayor 166 days before the anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge being opened. And the Golden Gate Bridge, the anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge opening to her 44th birthday is 2 months, 15 days. And she'll turn, 44. Mayor of San Francisco equals 215. Also, just interesting that Ed Lee was born in Seattle, which is interesting, you know. And I had some synchronicity with Seattle. Even some girl calling me about me DJing her wedding, and she's like, "Oh, I live in Seattle or whatever." Or I found out later she lives in Seattle. She said she was in Seattle, and my dad was actually in Seattle for one of my cousin's graduations at the same time. So I don't know, just interesting. I've just been documenting a whole bunch of stuff, and Seattle equals 44 and 107, just like earthquake. So possibly we'll get an earthquake in Seattle and not in San Francisco. Or possibly it will be on the East Coast, like I was talking about in 2015. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Even Pope Francis's visit to Mexico was really synced up to earthquake symbolism. And and it was the numbers I was talking about with an East Coast earthquake. So Pope Francis really important to that. The Franklin Bridge is really important as well. 2015, we had the Bridgewater shooting, and on the bottom of the screen, they showed Pennsylvania and whatnot. And it said Franklin Bridge when you read it downward. So let's make it short. I don't want to keep rambling on about it, but the odds of the 44th mayor of San Francisco turning 44 years old on the day of the bridge collapse this year, and his birthday 4 months and 4 days before the anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge opening. And now the new mayor, who, she's going to turn 44 this year after becoming the mayor. And she's even going to become the mayor on a date that syncs up with Bridge, so very interesting. She's also, you know, first black woman equals 59 in Gematria. And this story came out 59 days before her birthday. 59 is this huge number coded around black people. The word Negro equals 59, slave equals 59. That's why the Civil War came to an end on May 9th, 5/9, and Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. So, tons of other videos I have. Check them out. I forgot to tell you what I was even talking about at the beginning of the video, but it's called Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases. I'll leave some links in the description, and you can apply this for yourself and learn how to apply this for yourself. So, have a good one. Peace.